Hello! Welcome to another edition of Success in the West, broadcasting live out of Utah South Studios in beautiful St. George, Utah, where we are heading into the fall right now, and it is so absolutely beautiful outside. We've actually had a little bit of rain the last couple of days. It is just awesome. This is my favorite time of year around this place because it cools down a little bit. And it's just awesome. So this is one of my favorite times of year. And if you've never been in Southern Utah before, this is the place to be, especially this time of year. It is so awesome. Isn't it awesome here this time of year? Yes, of course it is. So anyway, I'm super excited. We have some people from a place called the Tilted Kiln. And Kiln is exactly what you think when you hear that. We're going to talk about ceramics and pottery, and I get excited about this because one of my favorite things when I was a kid, and I had it with me forever, was I made a little ceramic elephant when I was probably, 6 or something. We used to make those things in elementary school, and I kept some of those things for years. They were so awesome. Those are such a great, like, little heirlooms to keep when you make those things. So anyway, so we have Joe and Emily Bott, who are the owners of a place called the Tilted Kiln here in St. George. It's in St. George.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm super excited about this because, like I said, it's something that all of us have done, pottery and ceramics, which is largely what you're doing.
Correct.
And so everybody at some point in their life has been involved with that stuff, and it's
right.
and it's such a cool art form. And yet, as we sit here right now, I got to be honest with you, I don't have a clue what you guys do. I mean, I have a sense a little bit that you have groups and things that come in and do pottery or ceramics and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so tell me a little bit about what this place is, how it got its start, what it is you actually do.
Yeah, for sure. We do everything basically clay-based. We have people come in, they can select a project, which is basically what ceramics is, something that's been poured into a mold, brought out, fired, and then they can come in and paint glazes onto it. Once they do that, we fire it again, and it's probably similar to that little elephant you had, the little heirloom or
yes.
little project they do. We have parties that come in and do that. We just had a bridal shower in there.
Really?
Yeah.
These are parties
yeah.
that people are doing at the Tilted Kiln.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a nice little party room that holds about 20 or 25 people. If they have something more than that, we schedule them at night, and we can fit about 60 in there.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. And they just come in and sit down and paint and have a good time, listen to music.
That's okay. This is super exciting. So this company is specifically for holding events then? Or is it something where people just can walk in off the street and do this too, or
it's
what?
all just walk in. These parties they call and schedule.
Okay.
But most of our business comes from walk-ins. And that's just probably a third of our business, that ceramic side. We do other things where we have a working studio where actual production potters will come in and make pottery on the potter's wheel. They'll hand build. We do classes for all of that throughout the week. We have classes almost daily. And our teachers are phenomenal. So we do it all there. We love it.
That's really, okay. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
So and like we were saying a second ago, the little elephant had the glaze gloss stuff all over it. So but people can walk in off the street,
mm-hmm. yeah.
and say I want to make a thing, and you guys have what is it you have? You have little templates, or you have? I mean, you walk in and say I want to make I just say, hey, I want to make a pot, or how does this work?
Some do. So if they want to just make pottery.
Yeah.
If they've done it before in the past, they can just come in and do hand building. We do ask they have experience on the potter's wheel, even from just a one-time class through us or through school or something. But as far as the ceramic side goes, that's just a walk-in
Okay,
thing.
so this is something I meant to ask because we said this earlier. What is the difference between ceramics and pottery then?
You got that?
I'll handle the ceramics.
Okay.
Ceramics are going to be what you remember as a kid, going with your grandmother to the stores, like you're talking about your little elephant. They're poured in molds, and we don't pour the molds locally with us. We have some wonderful women and businesses that we get distribution from, but we have little elephants, or like you're saying, or plates, mugs, bears, vases, everything, any kind of little thing you can think of. We have that where you can come in, you pick your piece, you sit down. We have at least 40 colors or so on each table that you use, and you will paint that elephant. Like if we keep going with that, but we do have different techniques we can help you with stencils and stamps and different things that will help you just make it what you want it to be, your own creation. And that's what we love, actually. That's probably one of my favorite parts of our business is the painting side, because you get these little kids who come in and they're so, well, big kids too, because we all do it, but they get so excited when they paint it, because the glaze is kind of dull. And when they actually come back to get it and it's come out of the kiln, it's bright and shiny.
Right.
And so it's beautiful, and they get so excited to see that they've created this. And like Joe said, we do have several events come in. We'll have the dance groups come in when they're having high school dances and bridal showers and everything, and it's fun, and you can come on your own. We have great music. We kind of just hang out and have good music, and you paint and get into your vibe. We even have some groups such as the drug rehabs and different places that they need help with just having something peaceful to do in their life, and a lot of that comes in through our studio, and it's great. That's the ceramic side. Again, like it's all precast, and you can come in and just make it and come get it in a week or so. I'll let you cover the
So you come get it in a week or so. I
but-
remember this because whenever we would make our little things, then they'd send it away or something like,
Far away.
yeah, and a week later, the
Right.
thing shows up and it's all glossy and beautiful, and so
We have kilns.
We don't have to send it away. Ours is
you
all
just do it
done
there.
in-house.
It just takes a little while.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
We actually, and a lot of times with the groups, they're interested in seeing people haven't seen a kiln before. They just aren't experienced with that. So we'll take them back and explain how it's done and how high the temperature gets, and it's just fun to see kind of the eyes light up, because I always like to tell the little kids it's like making cookies. If you were to put the cookies in here, then they come out wonderful. They don't necessarily smell as good, but the
Right,
ceramic
yeah.
pieces, but if you leave it in this kiln for too long, we talk about temperature change, because we fire it. Is it for the ceramic? It's 2100. It gets up
1900.
to 1900.
Oh wow, okay,
So I
that'll
try to
burn your
explain
cookies.
how-
It'll burn, yeah,
exactly. I
cookies,
say if
yes.
you
Yeah.
have cookies in here, and that kind of gets them thinking about how hot this really gets to make the glaze actually melt and be colorful on the piece. So it's kind of fun.
How interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the ceramics,
Yes.
Ceramics, yes.
and then we have pottery.
yes.
That's
And this is what you were talking about, the wheel, I
Yes.
guess.
So pottery is the general term that people give to using clay on a potter's wheel or hand building, sculpting something out of that clay.
this is Ghost.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
She's sitting there doing her thing. We don't typically do the ghosting in our studio. We have kids there.
If you need a midnight
But
class,
if you need a
call
midnight
us.
class, let us know.
Okay.
But yeah, we do all we sell clay, we sell tools, we do all that stuff. So we get a lot of artists that come in and use our studio as their personal studio. They'll buy a monthly pass,
Interesting.
and they'll make stuff there, and then they send it to different boutiques and coffee shops and galleries around the region and sell them.
Farmers markets.
Farmers
that you see
markets.
Here locally. A lot
So-
of them are made in our studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I go to what is the farmer's market that's a block north of the temple?
Yeah.
I
that
think
we
it
go
is just
to.
called
The
Farmers
St. George
And I've
Farmers
seen
Market.
stuff there, and
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
We've got
So
a
they
few
may have
artists
made
in
it there.
that. We do things with like the mod market. There's a market actually this Saturday in Washington, All About Art. We've got 3 or 4 artists going there.
No kidding.
And it's great to see them succeed because they enjoy what they do.
Right.
And then a lot of them are teachers that teach at our studio as well. So they pass on their skill and knowledge to others that come in and take classes. And it's just a whole nice kind of calming environment that people come in and sit down and play with dirt, basically. And who didn't like to do that when they were kids?
Yeah, no
It
kidding.
kind of takes us back to just making mud things.
No, and I'm
stuff.
actually glad that you said that, because as I'm picturing this right now, I've never been to your place, but I'm imagining. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like if I got kids. I'm thinking as you say this, I'm thinking about when I had kids. I'd be thinking, okay, I know where we're going this week.
Yeah.
We're going to take the kids over to make pottery. Right. So this is a great thing for kids' families.
Totally great for kids.
Absolutely.
I'm also picturing if I were going to the university, this would be date night kind of thing. Is that also a...
Yes.
We get it all. It's amazing the dynamics that come in. We used to have a lot of media companies and stuff ask us to do advertising and things with them, and they would ask us, what is our key audience? And it's pretty much everybody. We have stuff for every age, every gender, every aspect of life. We've got families and little kids that come in, college kids. We get the snowbirds that come down in the winter that love to come in and learn pottery. They take classes. I mean, it's just the whole environment there is just, we want to be welcoming to everybody, and it's a blast to see all the interaction that everybody brings in. So
there's something to be said, though. You've got that from when you were a kid. I have a pinch pot that I made in kindergarten. It's a really horrible green color, but I love it, and I still have it. And it is kind of cool to be able to bring your kids, loved ones, family, or even a date who's never done it, and be able to play with the clay. And actually, it's tangible. It's right there in front of you, and you can play with that and make something. And when it comes out of the kiln, it's kind of like, cool, I did that. And sometimes they're beautiful, and sometimes they're a paperweight, but it's still, you made it, and it's kind of cool. So it's kind of a neat thing to do with everyone.
Yeah, that's the elephant.
Yeah.
It actually, thinking back, was one of the ugliest little things. yet there was something about it. There was something about it like you can't throw it away.
No, you can't.
It's too.
It's like right now. This week we just brought out about a dozen little handmade pumpkins. So we also do a homeschool class at our shop in the mornings. Kelsey is a great teacher with the children and the kids. So every other week we have homeschool groups come in, do a class, and they just had pumpkins come out, and it was really neat to see. They range from really beautiful detailed ones to here's a little lump of clay with a stick pointing out of it that probably was some of the younger kids, because they range from kindergarten to 9th grade in that class. So just to see them all there and what they do, and it's amazing.
So I'm hearing groups can come in, can schedule the place and come in and have a group activity. You offer classes that you can sign up for,
Yes.
I'm guessing, and come in and take the class. Or you as an individual or as a couple or a family can just walk in off the street.
Yep.
Those sound like three big categories of things that happen there. But I understand you actually have another thing, which is like a gallery or something that goes with all of this.
Yes. So we just started this in January. We opened up a new gallery inside of our studio called the Glenn B. Blakely Gallery, in honor of Glenn Blakely, who was a amazing man, a teacher down at the university for years and years and years. He actually was somebody that we confided in and asked for help and advice all through getting our business started and going. Unfortunately, a few years ago, he passed away, but we wanted to honor him in some way. And so we have a gallery now that we host various artists throughout the community in there to do art shows. Not all the time will they be ceramics or 3D. We do have some college students that will come up and do their senior project, their senior show in our studio as well, in our gallery. Right now we have an amazing show about photography. Shirley Smith is in there right now till the end of the month, or in the next week or so she's done, and then we'll have another one in there that is actually, I forgot what it was, like quilting and yarn, all that kind of stuff in our gallery. So we're not just focused on showing and supporting pottery, but all forms of art and mediums in there. So
okay, which makes me wonder now, how did you get involved with this then? Because you yourselves must have a background in art, in ceramics, pottery, something like that. You don't just all of a sudden say, "Hey, I'm going to open up a pottery." Where did this all come from?
Well, for me, my dad's watercolor artist. My brother designs video games. I do have some talent, but I don't tend to take the time to do it, ironically. And then I married a potter. So I just have a love for all art. I love the 3D, and what they do, they make it look easy. The potters make it look easy, and it's something that's a practice thing that you have to keep doing. So It's just been around my whole life. Art has just been involved in my life. It's a natural thing. When I met Joe, he was teaching high school art. I'm telling half your story.
That's
He was
you tell it.
teaching
You're better.
high school art, and he actually, we would go. There was a place. This was called Desert Light Pottery before. It was a small little shop that some people got together that just wanted a place to throw. And the lady's name was Joyce, and we would go down and get supplies for Joe's class. And it was the only place in town. It was just a little teeny place. And we would go in there, and one day she decided to sell it. She just didn't need to run it anymore. And Joe said to me, "Do you want to buy the pottery shop?" And I said, "Absolutely not."
That is hilarious.
I'm like,
do
"Why?"
you want to buy the pottery shop? Okay.
I was like, "No."
Yeah, she was no.
I'm good. No, I don't really do pottery.
I don't want to.
I think it seemed like a hassle, to be honest. But as it goes, price was right, time was right. We did it, and I don't look back on it at all. I mean, it's amazing. It was a struggle in the beginning. We changed the way, of course, we handled things compared to the previous owner. We had changed the name. We used to get calls, people wanting light fixtures when we'd say Desert Light Pottery. So we thought, well, we need to change it to be a little bit more crazy and off center like us. So hence the tilted a little bit there, but it's been a family affair. Like my kids have a love-hate for the shop, as anybody does when you have a family business. But we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that place, changing it, trying to find the right niche of how do we want to teach. Can we teach? Will people come for lessons? Do we need to have more stuff for them to paint? Is the community only going to want to paint things? It's just been this long process of finding the sweet spot. And luckily, Joe is spot on trying to try something new. In fact, I'm still the stubborn one because he'll be like, let's rearrange this and put this over here and let's do this instead. And I'm like, no. I'm always the one who says no.
She's not even the one moving it, but she doesn't want to do it.
I just say, no, it's good. We're okay. And, sure enough, we try it. I'm like, hey, try it. And it's amazing. So I really should get over my stubbornness, but it's hard.
It's who you are.
It's who I am.
That's
I'm
what we
stubborn.
love.
But,
it works great.
But Joe's amazing, and he's super talented, and he's very smart with this whole business. And I mean, he's a potter. He sees it differently than I do. So.
And this is, I so rarely hear say, my husband is a potter. Mm-hmm. Just really quickly, what in the world does that mean?
It means that I play in dirt and have no money.
Okay.
So I for what I love to do as an artist, I like to make pottery in clay, dishes, cups, bowls. The thing that I really enjoy lately is platters. When I get the chance to make stuff. So running the business, I don't get a whole lot of time.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's been great. We've got some amazing employees now. We didn't have any for the first 5 years. It was just us, and our workers now do a phenomenal job, and it allows me a little more free time to hopefully get in a little more and make stuff that I want to make. I'll do commission works for people, so will they. But as far as what I have in my head that I want to make, I don't get a lot of chance to, so I'm hoping to get to that and just sit down at a wheel, focus on the clay, and make it into something amazing.
So you're one of those artists, actually, that we were talking about a second ago.
I try to be.
That was your, okay.
He is one of the artists. In the beginning, when we were doing lessons, Joe taught everybody that came through the door. It was just Joe and I running the shop, which, as you can imagine, we also, which we haven't touched on much, is we are a distributor for everything. Clay, glaze, kilns, anything, tools. So in the beginning, he was teaching, and I was running the shop. And I can handle it, painting and doing fun things. That's a good thing. It's easy to do. Until somebody came in and asked me, and I can't even remember what the name is, because for some
Nepheline cyanate.
And then some other one. And Bursley Gorat. Well, it's that one.
Gersley borate.
See, I still don't know it. And they asked me for these chemicals, and I'm like, oh man, I should not be running this shop. Joe should be, I don't even know what you're talking about. And so it's, like I said, it's been the process, but we do have chemicals. People like to come in and make their own glaze and you know, from scratch and everything. So thank goodness I'm not running the shop as much, so you're getting knowledge from somebody who knows it. And like you said, our employees have really stepped up and brought a new aspect because they have different areas of talent. So we're very fortunate. I feel like we're very well-rounded. And the diversity of our teachers and the people who work there. It's grown from Emily. Ooh, I'm naturally with my hands. I apologize. It's grown from Emily trying to guess what you're talking about to actually knowing what we're doing. So. Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like you've been in business for a while. This is and it's growing and things are going well and I'm now thinking I've got to go.
You should.
Well, because I consider myself an artist beyond just the elephant. So, but it would be that, and even if I wasn't, it seems like it would be fun to just go. Once again, if I had little kids, it'd be a no-brainer. Like, right. I think we have to go play with.
We get people that come in and say, I'm horrible at art. I don't know how to draw other than a stick figure. But playing with clay is a whole different aspect. And so you may not know how to draw or paint, but you get your hands in clay and start making stuff, and it's amazing what you can see. Yeah,
and everything comes to life, and the 3D element of it, and that's pretty neat.
And so we've come up with one of the classes is called Give It a Whirl. You can take the long class and go through the whole process, but the Give It a Whirl is a quick snippet for you to get your hands dirty and see if you enjoy it. It's a 2-hour class. It's a one-time session. You come in. You've got your teacher there that's going to throw it with you and teach you how to center and start pulling up the clay. And that's the whole process is in that 2 hours. It's 2 hours. So after that, you'll go pick a glaze off of our shelf of colors, and our teacher follows through and kind of cleans it up because it's a little rough, right? We're not teaching them to trim. So you have to ask the words.
Okay, trim.
And which makes a nice foot on the bottom. So it's kind of, it's your basic test run. And so they'll pick the glaze, and they clean it up a little bit for them, and we'll dip it in the glaze of their choice, and they'll come back in a couple weeks because we have to do 2 different firings, a clay firing and a glaze firing, and come back and get this piece that you learn to do in a 2-hour session. So again, some people make amazing things. Other people don't, but it's like, I still did this on the wheel, and it's really cool. So we have Give It a Whirl sessions almost every day.
Almost daily. And then there are some people that worry, or they kind of have a fear of the potter's wheel. And so we have a class where they can do it by hand that we just started up the last few months called Off the Wheel. Is it Off the Wheel? Yeah, Off the Wheel. We just started it, so I'm still learning, where they don't use a potter's wheel. They just will do it on the table with their hands. And we have a teacher there showing them how to do little projects with that. So all aspects of it. It's fun. Wheels, hand-built, painting, you name it, we can do
awesome.
It. So.
Fun. Yeah. That's super awesome. Well, hey, so tell us a little bit about how do we get a hold of you? Where are you located?
So you can reach us on our website, thetiltedkiln.com.
Okay.
Or our Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is just at The Tilted Kiln. We are located right across the street from the University Art Building and right next door to Swig over on Tabernacle.
Oh, yeah.
So the original
I know
Swig.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thousand East and Tabernacle is right there. We're right next to it.
Yes.
It's an addiction that we can't get away from. But we love it. It's a good neighbor to have. But it's easy access north and south from the freeway, and you can contact us through any of that stuff.
Okay.
Or you can call us. Do you want our phone number? Do we put that out there?
Yeah, go ahead and throw it out.
435-275-6603. Okay. And you can contact us about any information for that, or any way you can reach us. Really. So
that sounds awesome.
Stop in. Yeah.
Well, Joe and Emily, thanks for taking the time to visit with us today. That's pretty exciting. I got to make a trip over to the Tilted Kiln.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, hey, thank you for being here. And thank you for joining us. We'll be back in just a few minutes with another guest. And thanks for taking the time to be here. And we'll see you in just a second.
Years ago, I sent out a text message to several people that I know. And I asked the question, if your life is going poorly, what's one thing you can do to be happy? And with the exception of one person who said, buy a new pair of shoes, Everyone else said, do something for someone else. One of the ways that we give is with money. We write a check to charity. Charitable organizations around the world receive our money and they do good with that. Unfortunately, all too often, that creates a sense of entitlement. Let me explain what I mean by that. One of the largest problems in the world is access to fresh, clean water. It is a major worldwide crisis. Dozens and dozens of organizations exist solely to drill wells to solve that problem. Did you know that 60% of all wells that have been drilled in the last decade no longer are in service? The reason is the drill rig pulls up, it drills the well, they cap it off, they put a pump, and they drive away. The recipients of that well have had no part of that process. They have no idea what to do when that well breaks. The reason we created Kiln Cares is to solve that problem. Kiln is a Japanese word which means contribution. The giver and the receiver, they both need to contribute. So if we can pair the giver and the receiver, and both are contributing what they can, then when that well breaks, they know how to fix it. 100% of the wells that we have drilled in the last decade are still in service today. So a lot of people ask, how can I get involved? There's really 3 ways. Number 1, come with us. Come on a humanitarian trek. Experience what we do firsthand. But that can be a lot to ask. If you can't do that, then please contribute financially. Every well that we drill is $8,000. Every well we drill serves 1,000 to 2,000 people permanently, and we solve the water crisis for them for their lifetime. And then number 3 is just join the community. Go to kilncares.org, sign up, and that's where you'll receive updates, information, everything that you can do to contribute. I'm Steve Haycock, and I'm the founder of Kiln Cares.
I think at Hearing and Balance Doctors, we understand that our patients deserve comprehensive care by a team that really cares for them.
A team of doctors, a team of audiology assistants that wants to see you do your very best. Not just one day at a time, but every single day.
We consider the care that we provide to be the gold standard in the whole industry. We are staffed entirely by doctors of audiology, who are the highest trained professionals to deal with issues of hearing loss, of ringing in the ears, of dizziness, of vertigo.
We specialize in anything involving the inner ear. And the inner ear comprises our balance organ, but it also has the auditory functions and how do we connect with people.
Hearing healthcare can be quite complex. Issues of balance, issues of hearing loss, issues of ringing in the ear can often be interconnected.
Easily would be 10 to 15% of our patients who came in for one thing leave having more comprehensive care.
People think they may just have a simple issue of hearing loss. There may be deeper issues at play.
When you say audiology, it literally says our name of our clinic, Hearing and Balance Doctors, and that's who we are.
And the team approach that we take in providing quality care, I believe, is second to none.
Hey there, welcome to Utah South Studios, the home of Thick and Mystic Media. I'm Robert John Hadfield. I want to invite you, yes you, to join me right here. Every single Tuesday from 10 to 11, we're going to do a live broadcast out of the studio here, and we'd like to invite you to join me here to talk about your business live broadcast out of the studio on the various social media platforms. The way to get involved with this is contact us, give us a phone call, message us, and let's get you on the calendar. It is absolutely free. The reason we're doing this is because by giving exposure to your company through this live show, we get exposure for the studio. Anyway, we look forward to talking to you. Thank you very much and have a fantastic day.
Christ heart chained to rhythm and blues, forgetting your name with every move. I'm broken, but all I wanna do is dance, dance through it, dance, dance through it. I was stuck running through emotions that you left behind. Put on that dress inside my closet that you never liked.
Where speed often takes precedence, there's a place where time slows down and dreams are crafted with care. This is our sanctuary of creation, where we don't just build camper vans. We build bonds that tie families together, journeys that are etched into the very fabric of time. The heart of our craftsmanship lies not only in the materials we use, but in the unity of purpose that defines us. Every curve, every surface, every detail is infused with our commitment to quality, not just because it's our job, but because we understand the value of memories made within these walls. Our mission is not just to build a vehicle, but to create an experience that transcends the ordinary, to design spaces that witness the growth of families. Every innovation we incorporate is a heartfelt tribute to the families who embrace life's adventures with a spirit of togetherness. Adventure Family Vans. Your van, your way, with your family.
Hey, welcome back. Robert John Hadfield here, Utah South Studios, broadcasting live. And we've got somebody else that we're really excited to have with us today. And this, I'm going to introduce to you Peace Ransom, who is a sound healer, yoga teacher, women's group facilitator, and end-of-life, and I don't know this word, end-of-life doula. Mm-hmm. Her business is Peace with Peace. And you work in both St. George and Las Vegas.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't, there's a lot of people that don't realize that Las Vegas is, as far as St. George is concerned, kind of right down the street. I mean, it's an hour and a half away, 2 hours away, but it's kind of, as far as St. George goes, it's the next major city.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm in Vegas all the time, flying in and out of there. So Peace is also an author, mother, grandmother, which shocks me, to be honest, fiance, and animal lover, residing, and you live here in St. George.
Yes, I live here in St. George.
So we were just talking about that before the first guest. St. George is like the greatest place in the world.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's a complete. I've only been here about a year and a half.
Okay.
Moved from Vegas, so
Okay.
it's a complete 180 from Vegas. But I really love it here.
It's a city, but much smaller. There's not the traffic. I moved here from Denver. So Denver and Las Vegas are similar in size. And so just getting away from the traffic
Yes,
and
that's
coming
nice.
to is so awesome. So one of the things that I read in your bio is that you're a sound healer, which is actually, so I actually took a singing bowl class
Oh, nice.
in Nepal. So I know a little bit about sound healing. I've been involved with how you lay the singing bowls around and line it up with the chakras and the different things like that. So I know a little bit about this stuff, but I want to hear, how did you get involved with this type of world, this type of healing, where you do the sound healing and the yoga and what have you? Because a lot of these things overlap with each other.
Yes, they
And
do.
so,
Well, how I became involved with it was that first I'm a survivor of over 30 years of trauma, and I have been seeking ways to help to heal my nervous system and to help heal from my past traumas. And I had been in talk therapy for well over a decade, but that just wasn't cutting it, since trauma is stored in the body. So I started trying all of these new healing modalities. I started trying yoga. I started trying sound healing, trying Tai Chi, Qigong, all that good stuff. And then I found what really worked for me. And then now I want to help share that with others so that they can begin to heal their nervous system as well and begin to heal their past traumas. So it's just, I came into it, I fell in love with it, and then I decided, yes, I have to get certified in it so I can share this with the community.
and you do this both in St. George and in Las Vegas, like we said.
Yes. I still get to Las Vegas at least twice a month. So whenever I go back, I make sure that I do some type of healing offering when I go back, because I love the Las Vegas community so much. But yes, I do offer it here and in Las Vegas, but mostly here. I'm here most of the time.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the services that you offer and who the different people are that would utilize those services.
Well, the services that I offer trauma-sensitive yoga, which is more of a restorative type yoga that absolutely anyone can do. Like sometimes when people hear the word yoga, they think, oh, you have to be so flexible and
right.
bending pretzels and all of that. But no, this one is a very, it's a mild restorative yoga that's really designed to help you to just get back into your body, connect to your body, help to calm the nervous system, regulate the nervous system, and just feel centered and grounded. So that's one of the services that I offer.
Now, is this something that you do with an individual or with a group?
Both.
Okay.
Yes. I do offer privates, but then I do offer group classes as well.
Okay.
Yes. And then another offering that I have is sound healing. So I do sound healing with the buffalo drum, with the crystal singing bowls, and also with tuning forks. And this is just a really beautiful way, again, to calm the nervous system, to bring healing and bring harmony to the mind, body, and the spirit, to heal the chakras, clear up energetic blockages and emotional blockages as well.
Now, so speaking from personal experience, and having gone through that myself, not the trauma part, going through the classes and learning about singing bowls, whatever you think about what's behind it, as far as the healing, et cetera, the experience of, for example, being on the ground with the singing bowls around you and having somebody take you through that experience, I don't seem like the typical person that would be interested in something like that, yet it's an amazing experience to go through. And I'm just telling you, laying on that ground and having the singing bowls around you and having somebody either hitting them, doing all the different ways that you can make them make sound, it is incredible. And partly because the sound, it surrounds you. It's the most unusual experience.
Yes.
And it is absolutely relaxing. It's really an amazing thing to go through. Wherever you are in your life journey, it is an amazing experience to have as far as calming and just to actually go through the experience of singing bowls. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that like that. I just, like I said, having gone through the experience, it's something where you go, yeah, there's really something special about that.
It is. It's a very beautiful meditative experience, and really the person, all they have to do is just lie there and just allow the tones and the frequencies to move through them, and just a really beautiful magic happens. With the sound healing and the sound bowls and the tuning forks and all of that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So sound healing, what are the other things that you talked about? Yoga.
Yes, yoga, sound healing, and then one of my new ventures is actually I'm an end-of-life doula. So I offer end-of-life doula services to those that are in the dying process and their families. And that has been another very rewarding experience, just to be able to help them have the dying process go well. You know, we only get one chance to have a good death. So what end-of-life doulas do, we come in and we provide holistic, non-medical support to the dying and their families, and help them to have a loving, peaceful transition rather than a fearful, scary transition. We can come in and help with things such as helping getting their paperwork together, getting their affairs in order, helping with legacy projects, which are really beautiful to do because then they're able to leave that legacy project to their loved ones for them to have, for generations to come.
What does that mean?
A legacy project, it can be anywhere from like maybe grandma was a really great cook and wants to put together all of her recipes together, or maybe wants to put together a collage, or perhaps they want to write letters to their different family members for them to open up at different points in their life, like perhaps, when a person has a child or when they graduate, they have a letter from their deceased loved one that's
wow.
specifically for that time. So it's really beautiful
that's awesome.
to have that. Yeah. And
Okay.
it just really helps. It just really helps to make the transition a more beautiful one. What people want when they die is usually to pass at home and to pass and being with loved ones. But what we want isn't often what we actually get. Usually it's in the hospital and it's very medical and it's not as loving and calming as we would desire it to be. So that's just where the end-of-life doulas come in to help with that.
Very interesting. How long have you been doing?
I've been doing that since last October. Oh gosh, it is October, so I've been doing it for a year.
And this whole business that you've had, how long have you been involved with this whole thing?
Well, I have started Peace with Peace about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I've always, since 2010, I've always had my own business. I kind of got out of the corporate world. I wanted to leave my mark on the world, and I wanted
good
to
for you.
help
It's good.
people. But Peace with Peace has really been centered on helping those that have suffered from past traumas, those that have chronic stress or anxiety, and of course, those at the end of life. But I am just really looking to help as many people as I can to just achieve that peace and that calmness in their life and to have a more fulfilling life.
And you're doing it in a really wonderful, sustainable way. And what I mean by that is that you start talking about dealing with traumas, you start dealing about, and so often we get thrown into the Western medical system where we're taking medication for things, and we're and what you're talking about, like I said a minute ago, one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had from a calming and peaceful standpoint was being in a singing bowl. Mm-hmm. Actually, like I said a second ago, I took a class in it, and being in those classes and actually having done it a couple times since then, it's such an overwhelming thing washing over you and having these experiences that can actually really make a difference.
Yes, it does. And sound travels through water 5 times faster than air. And the human body is made up of 60-something% water. So that's how we are just really able to feel it all over our bodies. And it can really just get deep down into the core of us and provide a lot of release. And release a lot of emotional blockages that we might have.
So it's interesting. So who would be a typical client of yours?
A typical client of mine would be someone that is suffering, that's stressed out, just from living in the world, because the way the world is set up, we can all be pretty stressed out at times. So someone that's just suffering from chronic stress, or perhaps that suffers from anxiety, suffers from past traumas, and they are looking for new ways to help release and ease some of those symptoms.
Okay. And but you also, a second ago, or when we were talking earlier, it sounded like there was also stuff that you offered for groups.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes. For groups, here in St. George, every Saturday at 10:30, and then on full moons at 7, I offer multi-instrument group sound healings. That's at Breathe Salt Room. It's on 310 East Tabernacle here in St. George. just in Las Vegas last week, we had a fantastic full moon drum circle for women that was just absolutely amazing, where we were able to just really reconnect to ourselves, reconnect to Mother Earth. We drummed, we sang, we just really released. It was a really beautiful experience. Every month, I also do a sound healing and Reiki with a Reiki master named Rochelle with 4R Healing. So that's going to be coming up on the 18th. We do that once a month at Breeze Salt Room. And then I am going to start doing new moon drum circles here. I want to say the new moon is the 14th, I want to say. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So, yeah, and sometimes I will also have like group root healing gatherings, or sacral chakra healing, womb healing, different things like that for groups to come out to.
That's really awesome. So look, when you say this is, I know there's a lot of people like me that I'm kind of I don't know how to explain this, but I don't. There are people like me that traditionally don't take a lot of these things. How do I put this? Seriously. Mm-hmm. And I want to emphasize something because I would be that typical kind of person. They'd be like, whatever, that doesn't take that stuff seriously. Until I've had, honestly, some of these experiences with it, yeah. and I'm still a pretty, one of those people that would be that fits in that category, but it's not. I'll tell you, a few years ago, I went out to Denver, and I went to a group sound event where they had a big, I can't think what the drums are called, but they have the little divots in them, and you play handpan. Uh-huh. They had a handpan, they had singing bowls, they had a gong, they had all these different things, and we were there probably with 200 people in this room.
Beautiful.
And it was absolutely, it really, really was. Laid down on a mat and just took it in, and I still, of all the things we did on that trip, I remember that. Mm-hmm. And so, for people that don't appreciate this stuff, there's real power in it. And when you think about the impact that sound has in your life just in general, you can, I was listening to a song a couple days ago, it came on, and it brought me to tears just listening to a particular song. Mm-hmm. And we have to appreciate that sound has such a massive impact, and it's so important to our peace, to our development, to our when you start talking about our feelings of safety, healing. I mean, all these things, everything that we do has music involved with it. Mm-hmm. And so it only makes sense that these kinds of things can have this type of healing effect that you're talking about.
Yes.
And so like I said, I having gone through some of these things, having gone to Nepal, having spent time with singing bowls, having gone through some of these sound events, this is something anybody should try to experience and take seriously. That's where I'm going with all that, yes. Where I go, this is something that can actually really make a difference for anybody.
It can. Most people think like, oh, that's too woo-woo.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe in that stuff. It's very interesting. I had a woman bring her daughter to me because her daughter was just really suffering from anxiety. She was really stressed out. She wasn't eating. She just was really feeling terrible. And the mom, she's like, I really didn't believe in this stuff, but whatever you did to her, she was like, she was 10 times better mm-hmm. once you got done with her. So it's like, most people think it's woo-woo and don't believe in it and don't, but I just say, try it just once and just see how it makes you feel, and you'll be very, very surprised at the effect that it can have on you.
Yeah, and this is why I say that, because I would be in that category. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a kind of guy that likes to just try different things, and that's why I find myself in some of these situations. And and I see, hey, they're going to have this big sound thing, and then of course, so I go to it, and I walk out like that was really, I would do that again.
Mm-hmm.
It had some sort of an effect on me, like music does, and there's so much to this that and it's going to hit different people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start adding that thing to end of life care,
Mm-hmm.
This can be a real, because I'm sure that becomes part of what you're.
Yes. Just a couple of weeks ago, I, as a woman was passing away, she wanted me to drum for
Okay.
her.
There you go.
And that was just still, I have no words for just how beautiful and just that experience was to just be there for her, because she was alone. Some of our people, don't have the families, don't have the support systems. So it's really important that they're not passing away and going through this transition by themselves. So she had me come, and she wanted me to drum for her while she passed away, and it was just a really beautiful experience.
Oh, that's awesome hearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was
And-
amazing.
Wow, that is really something. So we've talked about the different kinds of people that are involved with this. So you actually go to what did you say the place was where you have your events? Because
My group sound healings that I have are at Breeze Salt Room. That's on Tabernacle.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, like kind of off of St. George Boulevard
Okay.
and 300.
Okay,
Then it
okay.
turns
I
right.
have an idea where that is.
Yeah,
then, so,
yeah, it's
okay.
right around there. That's where I have my weekly group sound healings on Saturday mornings, and then I also have my full moon ones in the evening. And I'm thinking that we're going to do our new moon drum circle, most likely at Breathe as well. But then I also have a private studio at my home, but that's more of where I do privates and small groups.
So as far as a drum circle, because I know there are different groups that do those things, and then you say you do it on a full moon. What does somebody, to get involved with something like that, do they need things, or how do they? What does somebody need to know to get involved with that?
Well, really, if you don't have a drum, you can still show up, because you can still benefit, from being around the drumming.
Right. So you don't have. That's my thing. You don't have
You
to
don't
have
necessarily
any of
have
this
to have a
stuff.
drum. I just say bring yourself, bring a yoga mat,
Mm-hmm.
and just bring an open mind, and just be ready to release. Be ready to get barefoot in the grass and connect with Mother Nature, and just reconnect with yourself and the divine feminine, because most of my most of my drum circles are for women. So it's really about us, celebrating each other, celebrating our womanhood, and connecting to the divine feminine, and just really letting loose, letting out that wild woman, being out in the nature and just making all kinds of noises and just really letting it out. It's a really beautiful experience.
That's awesome. So as we get close to wrapping up here, what kinds of suggestions do you have for people that have suffered trauma?
Well, the first thing that I would say is to seek professional help. Like, we all, just the way the world is set up, we all suffer from traumas, either the big T or the little t, and we can all benefit from going to that non-objective person to come to with our problems, to come to with our issues, that can help us to reframe them, to see them in a different way, and then eventually be able to release them. And then I'm also a big proponent of self-care, and not just every now and then self-care, but everyday self-care. even from the small things like making sure you're taking your deep breaths, waking up in the morning, first thing and saying, I love you, doing mirror work, stretching, moving the body, to the big things like, oh, I'm going to go get a massage or a pedicure or, have a weekend getaway. I also love every Saturday I take myself out on a date. A self date. You don't have to have anyone to go with you. But yes, a big proponent of self care, because every act of self care, no matter how small or big, is just a drop in the bucket of healing and a drop in the bucket of saying I love you, and that really helps for us to heal. And also getting into body work. Like I said before, I was in talk therapy for well over a decade, but it didn't really help me to release my trauma. And we are now learning that trauma is stored in the body. So I encourage everyone to get into some type of body work, if it's yoga, if it's Tai Chi, Qigong, hiking, dancing, whatever it is that feels good to you, for you to try those different things, and then whatever feels good to you to keep doing that and doing it often, because that helps to actually release the trauma from our bodies.
Yeah, all that, the physical thing makes a huge difference.
It's essential to healing. I wasn't able to start healing until I started to incorporate body work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Peace. How do people get a hold of you? What's the best procedure if somebody wanted to be involved with one of the group things? If somebody wanted to come have one-on-one.
Well, you can, my website is peaceransom.com.
Okay. Spelled just like
Yep.
it has on the screen here.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's my actual name, not just the stage names.
Okay.
So
awesome name.
going to thank you, peaceransom.com, and you can find all the information on there to schedule with me, and you can also go into my calendar on the website to see when I'm having a group offering, and also following me on Instagram, Peace Ransom LV. And I will always be posting my different offerings on there as well. And I'm very easy to contact on there.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thank
I
you
love
for
this stuff.
having
It is
me.
so
This was
interesting
wonderful.
learning about that. So, all right. Well, thank you again. And
Thank you.
Hey, and thank you for being with us today at Utah South Studios. And if you're interested in coming and being a part of this, we would love to have you join us. And you can contact us here on our Facebook page or utahsouthstudios.com. And with that, have a fantastic day.